Wow.
Why is there 2 buttons to go live?
Well, it says hit live, and then I guess so you don't accidentally go live. I purposefully went live right now, so we're live at the moment. You gotta hit 2 buttons.
Hitting live.
I have power.
That's messed up, man.
I have power today.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, goodness.
Dun, dun.
She's
She's got the power.
He doesn't even notice. He's still going.
We are live, right?
Oh, I can
I
hear
better-
him in the kitchen.
I better shut it, or she's gonna take us off.
I know.
No, I only do that to Dad. I wouldn't do that.
Over here acting like Hank Pym over here.
I'm telling you.
No.
Why
Before
am I getting an echo?
I'm getting an echo.
I'm getting an echo.
That's because you're right under Kenzie now.
Yeah.
You were fine when you were beside her, but now that you're below her, you're getting an echo.
Hey, Pam says we're a bunch
There
of
we
nerds.
go.
There we go.
You gotta put me back in.
Is that better?
Why do we switch everybody around?
So you're not getting echo.
So we don't get echo, man.
How do we get
Oh,
Are
echo?
you better now?
Don't question the physics of StreamYards.
It makes no sense.
You should be getting an echo now.
Oh, goodness.
Oh my word.
That's a good way to not have echo. Just mute them.
Well, that's messed up.
Okay. Mike Wheeler was first with a bunch of ants. Russ Stapleton came in with a bunch of shoes, stepping on those ants. Dad was in the chat. Pam, what's up? Fulton Red, hello. So Ant-Man. This is the first time I've watched this movie.
The what?
Ant-Man.
The
I
what
watched
now?
that's what the movie we're supposed to watch is, right? Ant-Man.
Oh no, I
Yes.
thought we were supposed to watch Avengers Ultron.
We already did that. Man.
That was last
Oh, that was last week.
So, I know we haven't met him in the universe yet, but today is Benedict Cumberbatch's birthday, the person who plays Doctor Strange. So that's awesome.
Sherlock. It is
Sherlock.
Sherlock. It will
Strange.
always be Sherlock.
Strange.
But just because
Sherlock.
Strange.
I know Ange hasn't met him yet, but I wanted to mention that it is.
Sherlock.
Okay. Did you bring that microphone all the way out there?
What? I have no idea what you're
It's his
talking
new
about.
toy now.
Yeah, exactly. It's my new toy.
He's gonna
You have a
break
toy?
it.
You have a toy? I
I
have a
have
toy.
faith in the fact that he's definitely going to break that.
Probably. But you
Hey,
know what?
Danny, welcome in.
I bought it.
My chat is not moving.
We're supposedly talking about Ant-Man today.
It's supposed to be Ant-Man. My chat isn't moving, so I'm sorry if I'm not acknowledging you. Last person I have is like Fulton Perez, so like
I've got the YouTube chat popped out.
I know,
so
I'm on my phone.
So
I'm on my
Pam wants Oreos.
Hi, Danny.
We do have Oreos. Well,
Pam.
I had Oreos.
Pam's looking for Oreos.
What's up, Danny? Oh, and it
Pick
moves.
up Pam.
So yeah, Ant-Man. This is the first time I've watched it. I've actually only ever seen Ant-Man and the Wasp, so I didn't really have any background on that movie when I watched it. So it was a little confusing. Hey, Candy Mom, what's up?
Hey,
Hey,
Cynthia.
Cynthia.
Hi, Cynthia.
Hello.
I mean, we could jump right into it if you guys want to do that. Just
Yeah.
jump right in.
I say we wasted another 10 minutes.
All
Oh,
right.
yeah, absolutely. It's fine.
This isn't not wasting time. It's
Yeah,
nerd
exactly.
talk.
That's my channel. I'm
Not
wasting time.
Well,
And guys, well, I was just gonna say thanks. For those of you that are here, thanks. I know Resort TV 1's going live now
Yep.
too, and we'll be done in an hour. You guys can pop over there. I appreciate you guys being here.
Oh, totally.
And,
Yeah.
we're gonna have a lot of fun. So
Although we might
love
be
talking
talking. We might be talking for a while because I
We might.
really like this movie.
we
Oh,
might.
that's good.
Did you really?
I
Michael Riley,
loved it. I think it was
Hey,
my
Michael
favorite so far.
I really like this movie solely because of the humor. I just think the
Yes.
humor in this movie is amazing.
Now,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken, I think somebody told you that last week that it's Paul Rudd and it's a funny movie. I don't know who might have told you that.
Oh, now he's gonna be behind.
Now he's going to get echo again. Okay.
Echo.
I just have to. I feel bad because I have to put Russ through the ringer once I put Dad through it.
Close your door so I can hear you.
So this movie, I mean, Paul Rudd, he's amazing.
Mhm.
He
Um,
hasn't aged since Clueless.
Exactly. He really hasn't. He looks exactly
Right.
the same. I think he is a really amazing character. I think Scott Lang is really interesting. I have to say I was not expecting the Falcon appearance. I
Mhm.
did not think
Well,
about that. What's up,
And
Amy?
then,
Hey,
and then
Amy.
two, you put Paul Rudd with Michael Pena.
Oh
And-
yeah, absolutely. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Because actually they wrote most of the script together, and so that's why it's just hilarious. So yeah. Hey Amy, and hey
That one guy, yeah,
Garrett.
Michael Pena,
Garrett.
he is hilarious.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Which one was that, Mike?
He's the guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so
He's
you
Louis.
So I
Louis.
told you this one
Louis,
guy
yes.
told this guy, told this guy,
So
told this
He
guy, told this
is
guy.
so funny. I love his character. Like,
Yes.
obviously he was in. He's also in Ant-Man and the Wasp, so I knew him
Is
from
he?
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
But I think he's better in this one.
oh
yeah.
my god,
Better
yeah,
Ant-Man.
definitely. He's not in the second one as much.
Yeah.
He's not in Ant-Man and the Wasp very much. What's up,
Okay.
Monarch Moments? Hello.
Hi, Garrett.
So, yeah, I really loved Luis's character. He's hilarious. That entire group of like
Yeah.
3 guys.
Oh yeah.
They
So
were so funny.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
the perfect heist team. It just
Yes. Yes.
definitely. They were hilarious. And I love the part where they're just talking and Hank goes, "We're doomed." He fully accepts the fact that these guys are crazy.
Yes.
But they work together so well.
yeah.
They do.
I love that he's making waffles
Yeah.
Yeah.
while they're just he was waffles.
They're planning on breaking into this guy's house and they're just
Making waffles. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, T.I. was hilarious too. Kent, could you tell me?
Oh
this?
man.
What, Dad?
I got
T.I.
Now, who was T.I.?
He's the black guy in the group.
I thought his name was Dave.
And his real
Oh,
name.
in the group, yeah. His real name is T.I.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Is that
Yeah.
George?
or his maybe not his real name, but that's what he goes by.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah,
His
that was. Yeah, that was. It's funny.
Yeah, I mean they're all good. I mean it's all hilarious.
Baskin Robbins always finds out.
That's what Robin always finds
Oh
out.
yeah, Baskin Robbins.
Baskin Robbins always fun. Yeah. And
I love
you-
that.
I don't know if you guys if you haven't, you need to watch the gag reel.
No,
I-
I
I've
haven't.
watched some of them.
Oh.
It's so
I-
funny.
Slept after watching it. So
Did you watch all the way to the end?
I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the way to
Which? What are you
Cynthia.
talking about?
The
Oh,
very
the
end.
end, yeah, the end of the credits. Yeah.
All the way
Oh.
to the very end of the credits.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Okay. All right.
I did. And then I fell asleep.
Hey, Lady Jamers.
Hi, Jamie.
So I think, hey, Lady Jamers, I think we should go maybe person to person, just talk about what their initial their thoughts about the movie is, and then we'll go to favorite parts, least favorite parts, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So Russ, you go first.
Overall, I guess are we going to compare them to the other movies? Is that what you want to do, or you want to do our overall thoughts? What do you mean?
Overall thoughts. I mean,
Okay.
because this is the beginning of the whole Ant-Man saga, so it doesn't really have much to compare to the other movies because it's very unique in its humor and situation.
So Ant-Man sets up kind of the next phase, in my opinion, because you introduce a new character. I've got Nutter Butters over here. I can pull out if I want to. Yeah, it starts. You introduce this new character because actually he plays a big part in the next movie.
Yeah, no, he definitely does. I
Fun
saw
definitely.
it there, and I think it is funny.
Hi, Isaac.
Hey Isaac, but no, I mean I love this movie. I like this one better than Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good movie because too it separates from the others as to because it's like this is a heist movie. You know, this is not your typical superhero movie. Yes, it has the element in there, but it's more a heist movie. And you've got the funny crew, you've got the outlandish characters. I love it. I think it's a great movie. Yeah.
What are you
Nice.
doing?
Show us.
Passing
Pam
Pam
wants
and
an
Oreo.
Pam wants an Oreo.
I was gonna say something. I don't even remember. Oh god. Okay, continue. I'm so mad now. What do you want?
So you want me to talk about my favorite part or no? Or
We'll get to that in a second.
okay.
Stop
So
it.
moving on.
Dad,
Wow.
overall thoughts.
Here, Pam.
Very good movie. And like Russ says, this is that heist movie. It's a buddy. It's really it's different than what you expected it to be. They didn't hit us. I liked the overall fact that they didn't rely on Hank Pym being Ant-Man. They moved on, so you don't have to. It gave us an origin story that was a good origin story. Out of almost all the origin stories, this is the best one because they didn't start off with how Hank Pym became Ant-Man. They were like, he's already started. Let's move on to the next Ant-Man. How he passed this off to the next person.
Mm-hmm.
And what's nice about this is you'll see in the future, here you are, it's an average, basic guy who's got some talents at burglary into this whole superhero universe with no special talents other than the fact that he knows how to get from inside of some places that he shouldn't. And like they throw him in here. So I like this origin. I like the way that they handled this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like he's a really talented thief, but like they're not like finding him because of like him being super strong or any of that kind of stuff. It's just he's a really good thief.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this origin story is a really interesting one. I like it because it's not. He's not Captain America. Like he's not the good guy.
Yeah.
Like
Well, Ant-Man is an interesting character. I mean, it's it's a new thing that you're not used to. So
Right.
What about you, Ange?
I loved it. I mean, I almost would say this is probably one of my favorites so far. And I'm not sure why. It was easy for me to follow.
Yeah, no, it was really easy to follow.
It was easy to follow. There wasn't a lot of fighting. There was like a little bit of a storyline behind it. Like, it's so funny that Hope, I thought she looked like and I'll show you guys a picture because I sent it. She looked like the mom from the Santa Claus. Okay, so here's the picture of the mom.
Specific thing for you to think about, Anne.
Yes, but listen to this, and when you compare the two movies, it's so weird. Like his name was Scott Calvin, right, from the Santa Claus. His name's Scott, and then again they have that family where the mom, they have a child. He's been kind of disconnected from his family. They have this child. You have the stepfather in there who is like the stepfather from, what was his name? From
Judge Reinhold.
Yeah, whatever his name was from the Santa Claus. But it's so weird. Like I saw that, and then they put that lamb down, and that reminded me of Jurassic Park. I was like,
you're just linking all these movies.
I know. And I was like, wow. When he brought that little lamb out, I'm like, wow, that's like putting that goat into the the T-Rex cage or whatever.
I like how Jeff's just sitting back and just shaking his head.
We don't see the parallel between that and the Santa Claus. I do.
This is what I have to deal with.
You watch the Santa Claus, or is that just a constant on your mind? Like,
well, here's the good thing about that is if that's what you have to deal with, so somebody can watch a good Marvel movie, I'll deal with it.
But I mean, even the thing was, he missed his daughter, right? And he was doing all these things for her, just like Hank. I don't
What?
know. I can't remember his name, but he did it for his daughter,
Yeah.
Hope,
It's like
right?
this- yeah.
So the ant part did freak me out, though. The ant parts, like
the
I'm
ants?
not a big fan of bugs anyway. So those close-ups and like the bugs crawl, the ants and
It's
stuff.
a good thing that this wasn't Cricket Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Spider-Man. Oh, wait a minute.
Touche, Russ.
Oh,
We'll
just
get
wait,
there.
Spider-Man's coming.
but you know, and I know Billy's not a big fan of bugs. I remember the first. In fact, this is how much she doesn't like bugs. Remember the movie Starship Troopers?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Hey,
I went
Rob,
to go see Starship Troopers. She went to go see Rainmaker. So we went to the movies at the same time. We watched totally two different movies because she does not want to see the bugs.
Yeah.
So welcome in, Rob Fuzz.
Rob.
Fuzz.
That's funny. All right, Jeff, we're on to you. We're off
Okay.
to the Santa Claus.
All right. It's just hard. My life.
Oh, come on.
Okay. So what I thought about, I enjoyed it a lot more watching. So Abby and I watched it last night. She was talking with a neighbor, and she came in halfway through, and she just kept asking questions.
Who did?
So
Abby?
Abby and I watched it
No,
last
me.
night. Abby and
I
I
came
watched
into
it
it
last
halfway.
night. And she came in like halfway through. So what's that? Who's that? I'm just like, oh boy.
And I rewatched it this morning.
So she watched the end of it. Then she watched it this morning. But Abby and I watched it last night, and I really thought I didn't really like the movie the first time I watched it, but I think since though I could hear it well and I knew what was going on more, I liked the movie a lot more than I previously thought I liked it. I mean, I liked the way they brought in Agent Carter and Howard Stark at the beginning.
Correct.
Mhm.
I
Tie
like
in with Shield.
tie in with Shield. Yes, I like that. Where was I going with this?
Tie in with
I
Hydra.
like
This
that
is
they
my
brought
life.
those characters.
But go ahead.
No,
Yeah, that tie-in with Hydra is really interesting.
Yeah, that
and
was
then the
interesting.
Hydra tie-in was
Yeah.
very interesting as well.
Mhm.
But I thought
Well, that
Not
ties
that
it
I-
together with all the other
yeah.
movies.
yeah. Now that I heard the movie and I understood it a little bit more, I think when I was watching it the first time and there was just like a lot of noise and I couldn't like hear the
Either
plot
that
or
or you.
whatever.
Either that. I mean, I remember my first time watching it. I mean, I paid attention, but I really didn't like seriously pay attention. Like when I watched it again this morning, I'm like,
I remember
I don't
my
remember.
watching
Huh?
it this morning.
No,
Sorry,
yeah, because somebody's sleepy.
I didn't watch it last night because I was busy. And I watched it this morning.
Well, I also watched it this morning, and I'm like, oh, I don't remember this scene. I remember the basic premise of it, but I'm kind of glad I rewatched it today because it was better. I do
Yes.
remember the fight scene. I, you know, the whole subatomic thing, and all of that comes back to, come back in the
Yes.
future movies too.
Right.
Does it?
So now
Yeah.
that you've seen all the movies all the way through, this movie is a little bit better, I think,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really liked it.
because it makes sense. Like some of the stuff they did in like Infinity War and Endgame makes a lot more sense now.
Yes.
So
Well, and it too, it's not as heavy as Ultron was. You know, Ultron was
Intense.
intense, and then now
Yeah.
you go into a fun movie. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
And your next
Yes.
and your next movie is going to be intense too.
exactly.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can't wait.
What I
There's
do
a little
like
bit of
about
fun.
the Ant-Man is like Thor Ragnarok was funny, but it still was serious.
Yeah.
Ant-Man is that Ant-Man's the sugar pop of the Marvel universe. Let's just say. You know, like
Like-
you know, like when you're talking music, you have like serious rock, you have hard rock, you have hard.
What's up, Blue Nose?
Hi, Blue Nose.
Hey, Chris.
I think. Hey, what's up, Chris? I think when you look at Ant-Man and the way these movies are, it's the sugar candy pop music of the Marvel universe. The
I-
lighthearted.
As I think of, future scenes with Scott Lang, I feel like it's impossible for this man to keep a straight face for like 10 minutes. Like, he's always cracking a joke,
Yeah.
ruining a moment, just overall, lightening the mood by not being serious. I just think he's
Right.
a great character for comedy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you got your Avengers and they're
Yes.
all super serious, and like I think the one that jokes around the most is Tony, but he's still a super serious person. And you got
Right.
Scott Lang, who's kind of like, I got a suit. Like, you know, and I think he's a really funny character.
Well, and that's another reason why he and Falcon play off each other so well.
Yeah, definitely.
Because Falcon is just so straight shot, you know, straight shooting and
Mhm.
serious that
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't expect the appearance from Falcon. I really didn't. You know, that scene where he's flying and he's like, this is the Avengers, and he's like, he goes in and, you know, Falcon comes down. I was like, oh wow, that's like really cool. We got to see like, and then there's the part where he's like, Cap can never know.
Yeah.
about
Yes.
like that. It's just so funny to me, and I just really think he, like you said, Falcon is just such a serious character, and Scott's just like, what up? So I have a suit, and I need a thing. Bye. And
Well, I like to like, you know, I'll just stand here. He can't see me. I can see you.
yeah. Hi, Tina.
I
Hey,
think
Tina.
What up, Butterball?
So maybe we can do
I
everyone's
think Tina
favorite.
just watched Ant-Man 2,
Oh yes, she did. She did.
and she thought it was hilarious as well.
I think
So-
she watched Age of Ultron last night, and then
Yep.
she popped in and started with Ant-Man.
But she's watching them in chronological order. So
Yeah, again, that's the
Oh.
same thing with Carlos did. I mean, it's
Yeah,
tough.
I don't get
it's
it.
tough to watch
it's
it.
tough.
in-
It's tough the first time around. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so let's do our favorite moments in the movie, and we'll start
That's gonna be tough.
with Jeff.
I have mine. I already
Oh
know.
my gosh. My favorite moment is anytime Luis talks.
Yeah.
When he starts to tell the story. Okay, Luis, just stick to the facts. Okay, man. Like you can tell.
I
No.
love it. I love when they have like the people talking.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of my favorite parts is how they
Stanley.
sync that up.
Yeah,
Like,
she's hot, man.
and they're talking. He's telling the story, and their mouths are saying
Yeah.
exactly what he's saying. It's
Yeah.
like, wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
But I think my favorite part is when Ant-Man and the Yellow Jacket are fighting on the train track,
And it's
And he-
ping,
and he-
ping, 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 ping.
and he grabs that block and he throws it and he knocks him on the track. And Yellow Jacket's on the track, and here comes Thomas the Train, and it runs. He's like, and it runs him over, and then they show it from like the real
from
view,
away,
and then
yeah.
the train hits him and just falls over. You know?
It must be so interesting watching those tiny little fights as
Yeah.
you know, this
Yeah.
size of a person. You know,
Yeah.
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 it must be so funny. What's up,
Yeah.
Caitlin?
Hey, Caitlin.
Like Caleb.
Yeah, I think that was really funny too. What about you, Ange?
Yeah, I like the parts whenever Luis would try to tell a story, and he was telling the story, and the characters were mouthing and saying it right along with him. I thought that was really cool.
But they have to pull them back in. Like he gets so off track. With the
yeah,
stories,
yeah.
Yeah.
But I liked how that little
Dialogue.
cinematic touch there.
I was talking to this person, and that person told this person that this
Yeah.
that person.
And I said, I got a man for you, and he is downright, and their mouths are saying exactly how he's saying it.
Well,
It's
and then he goes all the way around and around and around in the circle, and then gets to the end, and it has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
It's-
Well, no,
Right.
actually, it does.
And he
Because
says
if
yes.
you listen to him, the
Yeah.
first time,
Well, yeah.
first time he says that, he was like, and then they were like, Luis, did they tell you? Or he says, I don't know if they knew who I was, or were they trying to get to? And both times this happens, it was a setup because they knew Luis was the cellmate of Scott
Yeah.
Lang.
Scott Lang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they knew again how are you 100% going to make sure it gets back? I mean,
Right.
Hank Pym paid his maid, and the maid told this person told this person told Luis.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the same thing at the end of the movie,
Falcon. That's his person.
Falcon's doing the same exact thing. He knows that somebody somewhere is connected to Ant-Man, and they're looking for him.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I
What's your favorite part, Dad?
I like when I think my favorite part is when they're fighting on a helicopter and Yellow Jacket says a lot of work for just a heist. And then Ant-Man or Scott's Ant-Man says, well, it wasn't just a heist. And then he blows, and then they blow it.
Building.
It's either that or when that freaking tank pops right out of the building.
Yes.
Or when the
Oh
guy
my
says,
goodness.
you know,
With the keychain attached to it.
With the
Correct.
keychain still attached.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pax
so-
was like, they got a tank. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll get to that when I get to what's bad about the movie for me. We'll talk about that. But go ahead, Russ. I think you're up next. Your favorite part.
No, I do. I like the fight between Yellow Jacket and Ant-Man. I mean, that's probably my favorite part. I mean, the whole movie is fun. I mean, I love the whole movie. When Yellow Jacket gets knocked into the bug zap.
Yep.
Yes.
And then, of course, then he gets arrested, and he's, no, wait, you got to go back there. The bug zapper. There's a bad guy in the bug zapper. but yeah, the
You're out
Thomas
of
the
your
Train.
mind.
Yeah, the Thomas the Train is hilarious. When it comes flying out the house. I mean, I love the whole movie. I think it's fun.
Who knew they could get me sad about the death of an ant named Anthony?
I know.
I know, right?
All right.
Anthony,
And it wasn't Anthony. It was Anthony.
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 Well,
Yeah.
The fact that I got sad
Well-
about an ant dying, like,
What's
Yeah.
really funny is the line that the stepfather says when Scott comes back from the quantum. Dude, there's a hole in my house.
A hole in
Yeah.
my ceiling.
Yeah, there's a hole in the
There's a
roof.
hole in my roof.
There's a hole in the
there's a
roof.
hole in the roof.
So, I mean, that's what's good. There's a lot of good one-liners throughout this whole movie, and I like movies that have one-liners. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pam, you've never seen Ant-Man. You need to watch it.
who's never seen
Oh,
it?
Pam.
Is that why?
Pam.
That's why she asked
Pam
what
got
does our PIM means.
Oh, Pam, you have
Yeah.
to watch it. Even I liked it, and I understood it.
And the
so-
PIM,
Yeah.
PIM particles are what make him shrink, Pam.
Yeah.
PIM.
yeah. So
I also like when they're in the helicopter and they're fighting in the briefcase, and they hit the cell phone,
they hit
and
the
he's like,
Siri.
"I'm going to disintegrate you," and then you hear Siri playing disintegration by
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Then loud music starts playing.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite parts was the entirety of the training montage of him like learning
Yeah.
how to deal with the ants and
yeah.
him fighting with what's her name and
Hope. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like them fighting, and it's just I love that. I will say I'm not a fan. Like, I really liked the fact that they weren't like heavy on romance between him and Hope until the end, but I think they make really good friends. I didn't see a point in adding romance between them.
No, but you know what? What the good part is that it wasn't thrown in your face.
That's
Right.
the thing that I was happy about, was the fact that they didn't throw that in your face the entire movie.
Yeah.
And flying through the keyhole, that was
trying to play the
They're
keyhole.
trying to jump through the keyhole. Yeah.
as he's constantly trying and just running into the wall, and Hope's just like, he is useless.
Yeah, Isaac Neil's bringing up the second movie, and Isaac, well, that's definitely a funny part in
Oh, yeah.
Ant-Man too,
Mhm.
about the truth serum. That
Yeah. Don't read it.
yeah, don't read it.
Well,
Spoilers.
it's not spoiling anything.
That's true, because she won't remember it by the time we get
Yeah.
to it.
Well, I don't know what that means. Like,
She's
talks about
remembering
that a
things now
shot
that she understands the
looks
movie.
like truth
Don't rely on her memory anymore.
Yeah, but that really doesn't have a lot of meaning. A shot looks like the truth serum, so that could be anything.
All right, we want to talk about what's bad about the movie.
Sure.
Ken's
Go
your
ahead,
turn.
because you know you got something there. So
I
I mean-
do.
Like
I
I
have
said, I
something.
wasn't a fan of them just randomly adding in the romance thing at the end. And I think,
Well, I knew that was coming, but yeah,
yeah, I mean, I've watched Ant-Man and the Wasp, so obviously I knew.
no, I meant from the comics. So
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So
Oh, go ahead.
here's my thing. The way it's explained, okay? Hank Pym creates the Pym particle. He shrinks himself down, but he still has the same power and strength of a 200-pound man, per se. Correct?
Right.
All right. So the issue is it works sometimes in a movie and not all the times in a movie. Okay? If that tank was really a tank that was shrunk down, how heavy would that keychain really be? Because if it's keeping the same density as the tank, it's going to be a pretty heavy keychain, correct?
Right. Or vice versa. If
Correct.
It was,
Well-
So imagine how big a big Thomas the Tank Engine wouldn't have blown through the house because it would have been so light because
yeah,
They,
true.
they
there
do
would have been no mass behind it.
they do somewhat quickly explain that at the very beginning, because he talks about how he is able to shrink and grow the density as well. So that it somewhat explains the physics, but again,
I mean,
it's a
it's
comic book movie.
Yeah.
again, it's a comic book. It's fantasy.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about it. You know, if Hank or if Scott Lang can punch down a security guard when he's shrunken down to the Ant-Man size, and he only makes a big dent in the top of the roof
Mhm.
of the taxi, you know, like she's explaining it, you could either punch a person and make them feel it, or it won't hurt at all. So he has to control that. So when he's free falling, there's no control over that. It's either going to be a full weight. So that's the same problem I have with both of the Ant-Man movies. Is if you're going to leave it in one law, if you're going to have the science explain, which again, it's fantasy. Again, it's fantasy, so I understand that. But if you're going to make the rule, stick with the rule.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing I have wrong with this movie. Everything else is perfect.
I have something.
Tina thinks it has a huge nod to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
There you
Wait,
go.
wait.
See? Thank you, Tina.
She sent me a message last night when she was watching it and was like, "So is this just Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, that superhero version?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, I'd take that and combine it with Ocean's 11." And
Yeah.
there you go. That, you know, so but she hadn't seen those either. So
Right. Ah, that's
no,
funny.
I and again, this is where it comes into the comic books. They do a pretty good job of sticking to the comics, but I mean, I don't much care for Yellow Jacket as a character, especially this iteration, because he's completely different from the comics.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's very different from the comics. But I mean, he's a good villain for this movie. I mean, and he was a big villain for the for this movie. But I mean, he was a big villain for the comics, just not in this way. So,
Okay.
but yeah, no, I mean, I really don't have a whole lot. I don't much care for the Quantum Zone stuff, even though that plays a huge part in the next Ant-Man and the Wasp movie and going
Okay.
into the Avengers.
Yeah.
I don't much care for that part of it, but I know that it is a major part of the story. It's not so much a big part in the comics. They talk
Okay.
about it, but it's not that big of a deal. But again, it's just that's one of those small things that
Yeah.
doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But no,
I mean, I can't
I
think of
enjoy it.
much that I didn't like in it either.
I kind of wish they would have explained how Scott Lang was even a blip on Pym's radar.
They did.
He had heard about him breaking into the unbreakable
Well,
Cool.
see, here's the thing.
security system.
The background, and you get only a very bit glimpse of it, is Scott Lang wasn't a thief by nature. Scott Lang was a whistleblower.
He was a white collar.
He was a whistleblower.
Yes.
And he pretty much knew that. And then when the whistleblower didn't go his way, what did he do? He broke into he used his master's in electronics to break into the business and refund a lot of these people's money. That got him in trouble. That put him in prison. Okay.
Mhm.
Right.
So the whole idea is, and in some of the deleted scenes, and you could actually, that's where you get the fill-in on that, is that Scott Lang had
So the whole thing is that he was able to break into the security system that it should not have been able to been broken into.
Mhm.
Hank Pym heard about this, realized this guy is good, and had him on his radar. That was the whole thing.
But when is that? Why does that qualify him to be Ant-Man, though?
because it got him. The whole idea is, and what he did to put the test. His test was, I'm going to put the suit inside in this vault. I'm going to lead to my maid that gets back to Scott Lang to see if he can break into that vault. So now what happened is
Because the
his
whole
first
thing
obstacle
break into
was
the
getting
building.
into the building. The next one was he got down to the first safe and he had to have a thumbprint. So he had to come up with an idea to a thumbprint. It's, I guess, what makes Scott Lang for Ant-Man good is that he's intuitive, and
He knows how to break into places.
there you go.
And he's expendable, right?
Right.
Yes.
That's the other thing. He's expendable, and so that's
Yeah.
they wanted someone who could do the job, but if he messed up, it wouldn't have mattered.
Right.
You know. And
He's
again,
our Popo.
Hope even says that I didn't know that you had a daughter. I just was
Yes.
that part of it too. That might be another thing that I don't much care for is Hope's character, because she's very different from the comics as well.
She
Really?
really bugs me.
But see, Hope actually in the comics, she's just like Black Widow. She was trained in the Red Room. She was raised and trained in the Red Room in the comics.
Okay.
And she becomes like a major villain to Ant-Man later on in his life because she's mad at Hank. And it's one of the reasons why he has to retire. Of course, they kind of talk a little bit about it, the fact that the suit makes you like the Pym particles messes with your mind.
Yeah.
And so that's why he couldn't use the suit, because he already has that problem, and it's what drives Hope away from Hank even more. And it's actually the reason why the original Wasp is actually killed in the comics, because of what happens with Hank. And actually, the original script for this movie was supposed to be about that, but Disney thought it would be way too dark, and wanted to change it, and so that's why they basically fired the director and got a new guy. So,
Okay.
Well, I think this movie is just great.
I think it turned out amazing.
I mean, Hope
So,
wasn't my favorite either.
okay. It leads me to believe, though, because I haven't seen Ant-Man and the Wasp, that she's going to be the Wasp, right?
Well, right, and then
Hope
at the
is.
end of the movie, she gets the new suit. They don't show her wearing it, but that sets it up for the next movie.
You did watch the extended scene. You did watch the mid-credit and scenes, correct?
Yes.
So the mid-credit scene sets up the Wasp, and the end scene sets up the next movie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, while this is a great movie, I mean, it's tough to talk about because there is a lot of good scenes in this, and some of the actors are really great.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like I said, Paul Rudd is amazing in this movie. I think he is such a funny, especially later when he becomes more involved in the Avengers, because he is going to play a very big part in those movies. I think him, working with his personality is so different. And I just think it is such a funny contrast. And watching that work together is just great.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to put in there that in the comics, Ant-Man is an origin person of the Avengers. Like he's one of the original Avengers.
Hank Pym.
Well, Hank Pym is, yes, not Scott Lang. Hank Pym is, and so it's interesting now that they're bringing him back around. Because he wasn't in it. But it's the new Ant-Man, so they're changing it that way. But yeah,
Yeah.
Because I mean, comic books, and you know this, and I've watched a couple of research videos. Hank Pym is the one who creates Ultron. So, you know, I like the fact that it shows you not everybody is happy with Shield.
Yeah.
Even before they knew it was, even before it came out that they were Hydra. Here you got Hank Pym, who is about. You got two of the smartest people in this group, in Shield. You got Tony Howard Stark and Hank Pym, and they were two people that just don't get along.
Yeah,
you know. And I think you're right. The way Russ has put it, the more time that they spend in the quantum realm or in the suit, it messes with your mind, and that's why she says something to the other guy. Is he's been experimenting with this shrinking Pym particle or the other particles that he created, but he wasn't protected enough, so it was actually messing with his mind.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to address something that Brian said, that he didn't like that Hank was the mentor to Ant-Man. But that's the way it is in the comics. And in fact, at this point in his life, Hank Pym is running the Avengers Academy in the comics. So he's the one like in charge of that building. And he's bringing in the new Avengers and training those new Avengers. So I think that part of the story is true, as far as the comics go. I like that. And again, it shows how the Hank Pym, he's got that temper. He doesn't have any patience. And part of that is because of the way that he, has had to deal with the higher ups of S.H.I.E.L.D. and deal with those, he's always kind of been a lone gun. And that's the way he's always been. That's his character in the comics. I mean, he's an arrogant FOB. So, yeah. That's the way he is. But that's the thing. That's why he and Stark clash so much, because they're both the same.
Yeah.
So,
And there's the one part where he's like, I spent my whole life making sure that Stark didn't get a hold of this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very protective of it. And he is. And he has to be.
Right.
Because this is something that can change, the universe.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. You're in contemplation there, Kenzie. What do you think?
Sorry. I was thinking about Ant-Man and the Wasp, and my brain just flew off in a different direction. I'm very sorry about that.
No, you're fine. Yeah, Brian, that's what we were just talking about a little bit ago, I think, before you got here, that they originally were going to have the darker story, and they ended up changing it because Disney thought it would be
happening right now, Dad.
It would be too much. Yeah, the cameo.
So, if you've realized, the Saturday Night Live scat, back in the classic Saturday Night Live, they had this guy play Ant-Man, as you can see right here. He was also the cabbie. So there was a small funny cameo, I would say. I just wanted to bring that up. You didn't have to bring that up right away, Kenz. I just wanted putting it there.
I was just trying to figure out what you were doing.
Yeah.
What used?
Yes, Garrett Morris. Garrett Morris.
He
was also in 2.5 Men. No, not 2.5 Men. 2 Broke Girls. He played the cashier on 2 Broke Girls. He's a funny guy.
So yeah, I really liked this movie. And like Brian just said, not every hero needs to be the good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously what Scott Lang did was, Mike, there's a part towards the end where Luis is doing his story thing, and one of the people who talks is Stan Lee. So
you don't get his voice.
Yeah.
He's the bartender during one of the stories. So yeah. He says something like, yeah, she's super fine, or something like that.
Yeah. So I lost what I was saying. obviously what Scott Lang did, you know, as his crime wasn't for bad intentions. He was trying to, you know, give people their money back. Obviously what he did was still illegal, but I think it's, you know, he's kind of like the vigilante type thing. And
Yeah.
I think it is really cool that they have a hero who's not necessarily the good guy. And that's the kind of the same thing you have with Peter Quill. Peter Quill does the same thing. He's willing to, you know, steal stuff and be a bad guy sometimes.
Yeah.
I just really liked Scott Lang's character. Like I said, he what was I gonna say? I read Brian's comment and then I lost it. What I was gonna say.
Oh.
You were going to say
I was
that you
just
have
gonna
the
say-
best dad in the world. That's what I know you were going to say.
What?
You were going to say you have the best dad in the world.
Okay.
You're comparing them. Well, I was just going to say you probably would like Scott's character in the comics even more because he does even more for Cassie in it. In the comics, Cassie has a heart condition, and he steals the suit in order to use it to then steal money so that he can afford a heart operation.
Oh,
for
wow.
her. He needs a heart transplant. So, and then actually, that's where Yellow Jacket comes into play, because Yellow Jacket also has a heart condition, and he has created a suit that keeps him alive, but it burns out hearts. So basically, it's like a defibrillator that makes him like super strong, and it burns out his heart, and so he has to like replace hearts. So at the time when Cassie's in the hospital, he steals the heart, which has been exposed to PIM particles and from the suit, and so then he is able to shrink as well, and that's where Yellow Jacket gets his power.
That's interesting.
So it's interesting, you know, how they kind of turn it around, but and change the story somewhat. So
Yeah, Blue Nose.
Yeah, I like that
Natasha
origin.
was bad.
I like the movie origin better.
right, yeah,
Yeah, Natasha was bad before she became Black Widow. A lot of the characters, you know, came from different backgrounds. Not everybody has the best record on them.
Right.
But you know, Natasha's at the point where she's doing like the good things now. She's not like also considering going
She's
on. Like,
wasting the red in her ledger.
yeah,
well, that's where Marvel characters are so much more interesting, because most all of them have some sort of a past.
Yep.
Mhm.
Or some sort of a thing that they have to get over, you know, or deal with, you know, in order to become the hero. You
Except
know,
Yeah.
Cap's always a good guy. Team
well,
Cap.
true, except for Cap, but Cap started out as a scrawny little dude and then became a hero. You know,
yeah,
so it's more relatable, is what I guess I want to say. You know, people can relate to it because they have problems too.
yeah.
So
So I really loved this movie. I don't know what else to say about it. I just think it's really awesome. And I mean, I really enjoyed, like, obviously Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's gonna be coming up, and we can't talk about that too much because Ange hasn't watched it. But I think that movie, I watched that in theaters when it came out, and you know, I'm watching it and they're talking about the previous movie, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about right
Yeah.
now. But I was able to
All right,
watch
so-
that movie, and I was able to watch Infinity War and Endgame without having to watch Ant-Man first. Like, I was able to comprehend those things because I had watched Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Right.
What, Dan?
It's not a necessity. It's not a movie that you have to watch to get to the next movie.
It's a good origin story. I don't think
Right.
Endgame would make sense if you didn't watch either of them, because you know, Ant-Man's story is very important for Endgame.
Mhm.
Like, not watching both of those movies, Endgame doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But
well,
for like, I was able to watch Ant-Man and the Wasp and then those movies without having to watch this movie.
Yeah.
But you should watch this movie because it's a really good origin story.
Well,
Mhm.
this is a good standalone movie, you know, and that's kind of
Yeah.
the way they made
Yeah,
it.
totally.
In fact, you know, they interviewed well, one of the interviews I saw with the director was that when he came on, he was excited about the fact that he didn't have to stick to a theme or a you know a what's the word, just the way that all the other movies were. They didn't all have to stay the same, kind of
Mhm.
like DC movies are. They're so dark and you know kind of all play together. Whereas this, they're individual characters, but yet you're able to then bring them together in another movie, and they can still play that part. You know, and it's not that you have to stick to that same theme all the time.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean,
I
I just
really
think
love this movie.
it's a good movie. It's just awesome.
I agree. I agree.
Like you said, it's not. It's a like if you're trying to like watch stuff that's going to make Endgame and stuff like that make sense, you know, go for it. You don't have to watch these standalone type movies. But this is a really good origin story.
Yeah, I agree.
Like a really good one.
I mean, it does help to set it up for the next movie.
Yeah,
You know, because he is a part of that movie.
a big part of that movie.
And yeah, and you know, but again, you don't have to have, you know, you don't have to have seen this movie in order to really understand it. So yeah.
Yes, Father.
Did we talk about Brian's comment?
Where are the recurring baddies?
Yeah.
Loki.
Well, that's only one, but
But he's important. Let's acknowledge him.
that is true. But unlike the comics, where you know the baddies go away and they keep coming back, the baddies go away. I guess they're trying to base this somewhat in reality. What happens to bad guys? I mean, Abomination is technically locked inside of a prison, but do you really think any real prison's going to hold Abomination for that long? Why hasn't he been around?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and you know, they kind of start. Well, of course, you got Thanos. He's the reoccurring bad guy later, but I mean,
right.
you know, I mean, if each individual character has their you know supervillain that is their bad guy, and when you're not, you know, you can only use them so many times before people don't want to watch him anymore.
Right.
You know?
If you always have the same if you always have the same bad guy and he keeps getting beat, it's not like comic books. Comic books, people read them, they have a interest in them. People have a core following. Movies, on the other hand, need to have that mass appeal, because if they just made movies for the Marvel movies were only made for those Marvel comic fans, it's not worth as much money as they're putting into it. They need to hit that. They need to hit the Angelas of the world. They got to convert her. They got to convert her type of people. The people that had never watched Marvel in the past, they got to bring them into the movie universe. If you were to say that Thanos was always going to be, or like Thanos was going to be the bad guy for 4 or 5 movies, and after the first 3 that he's already been beaten, there's no thrill of wondering how they're going to beat him. They know they're going to beat him.
Yeah.
You can
Well,
only
you know,
Joker so many times.
And I heard Tina from Tina Marie Photography loves Thanos.
Yeah.
She has if Thanos and Chris Farley are about the same on her hotness meter, I've heard.
I'm worried about this Thanos character.
well,
He'll get there, Liz. Don't worry about him right now. He's not the problem right
Ryan
now.
brings up a point too. You know that, you know, yes, they take Thanos out at the end. Spoiler.
For that.
You know, and yes, in the comics, he's a continuing character. You know, and I'm going to be the first one to tell you that, you know, I love the comics, and that's why I compare these movies to the comics. You know, that's kind of where I'm here. But you know,
you're here for other reasons, Russ, not just that.
But
I'm not going to say, you know,
but
you needed a 4.
No, the fact that, you know, they changed the comics for the story.
Why are you using the back scratcher right now?
For a movie.
This is an appropriate time for you to be using the back scratcher.
When your back itches, your back itches.
You can wait 5 minutes.
so when they're writing these scripts, it's for a movie, and they have to take all of that information from the comic books and make it fit within the script. So yes, they're going to change things. Again, almost none of the origin stories are the same. They're similar.
But when you talk about origin stories, I'll interrupt you just briefly. The problem with movie origin stories compared to comic book origin stories, comic books recon all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
So what movie, what origin story are you going to look for?
Exactly.
Movies, every once in a while, they recon. Look at Spider-Man. Spider-Man's been reconned 3 times in the last 20 years. So,
right.
Batman and the Joker. You've got like 30 different versions of the Joker at this point.
Well, and that's again that is that's the point of the comics, because they have to rewrite the story to make it relevant and to make it interesting to read, and that's what sells those comic issues. But for a movie, you got to make it the most exciting that it can be, so that people are going to enjoy it. So yeah, you're going to rewrite the script, you're going to rewrite the story. You've got to, and then even now. The comic books are, because the movies are more popular than the comic books, because people don't read as much. They're changing the comic book stories in order to
match
fit the movies. Right. So and they change the characters, they change the looks of them, they change the way that they were, and that's just part of the business. I mean, that's just the way it's entertainment, and that's where I look at hey, the comics are not the Bible. You can't keep it canon every time, but that's where the origin is. But yeah, that's where you start to love those movies, but then it comes back around. So
yeah, like Iron Man has died like how many times in the comics?
Oh, couple.
I think probably 6.
So and Brian Ashard, it's true you might not see Frank Castle in the MCU, but don't think that they might not do a Frank Castle Punisher movie, because I've heard
had a TV show.
There's been a Punisher movie.
Yes, but there hasn't been a good Punisher movie.
Yeah,
there's been a good Punisher series, but there's never been a good Punisher movie.
Not through Disney.
But
right,
if Disney is willing to go online and put a Deadpool 3 out there, and it's rated R, and considering, I mean, granted, they're not going to put it out on the Disney
it'll be under the Fox brand.
It'll be under the Fox brand, and the same thing. You might be able to see a good Frank Castle, and I think they're talking about doing another Frank Castle series with the same guy who played him on the Netflix series. If Disney does greenlight something like that, you're not going to see it on Netflix. And you won't see it on Disney Plus, but you may see it on Hulu, which Disney owns.
I don't use Hulu very often.
But I think that's where Disney offered that one package where you can get Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. If you have all 3 of those packages, you're going to get the best of all of the Disney properties, because Disney Plus is not going to put the adult content on.
Yeah.
Sports are going to be on ESPN, and the adult content or the questionable content from Disney Plus will get shoved to Hulu, along with some of the TV series that they've already have contracts with. Granted, I'm surprised that Simpsons are even on Disney Plus, considering that what their content is like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, don't get us started on Loki now. We'll never leave.
Don't get me started on him.
Yeah.
So we're a minute away from an hour, so everybody can say what they've got coming up. Jeff, Ange, you guys just got home. What do you guys got coming up?
What do we have coming up?
I don't know. I'm heading back to Florida.
Well, I'll say this.
We have some videos coming up.
Something very important. This Friday's pizza stream. Huge surprise, huge announcement. You guys have to be there.
Yes.
Like, you guys gotta be there.
It's on our channel.
Whose channel is it on?
It's on ours.
It's going to be on yours.
Yes.
Okay.
You guys have to be there. Put it on your calendars. Make sure you're there, because we've got a huge surprise, huge announcement, and you guys are definitely
coming back.
Yes,
What?
5 Eastern. 5 Eastern. We'll put something out in our
Yeah.
community tab and everything
So
about
what do you
it.
got? What else you guys got coming up?
So we have, I have a couple of vlogs I need to put together from our time that we spent down there. Some food vlogs, some different places that we visited, and then our normal Dreaming with the Mouse on Thursday too. So
Dreaming with the Mouse.
Dreaming with the Mouse. How about you guys? How about you, Tracy?
Well, what I got coming up is obviously
Thursday.
modding for my daughter on
Tomorrow.
and I don't know if she last week she invited me. I even got ready and showered and everything, and then she kicked me out
Because you weren't prepared and you
because I
didn't.
wasn't prepared. I don't know about this Thursday. Depends
You're
on
not
what's
doing
coming
this
on.
Thursday's not happening this week.
I don't know for sure.
There's no way for us to do Thursday.
If anything comes up, I'll see if somebody can fill in for not wasting time on Thursday. If I can, I can. If I can't, I can't. Thursday, I'm going to be busy. I got to get ready for some class work that I got coming up. I got fire training. It needs to get set up. They're talking about doing the car prop burn in. I don't know if it's this Thursday or Friday. One of those 2 days. I'll probably be busy, so it's unfortunate. But if I don't get to it this week, I'll get to it next week. I do know I want to contact, see if somebody wants to fill in for not wasting time. That way, there's somebody to watch on that Thursday.
Okay.
How do you train a fire?
We'll talk afterwards. Like we have a firefighter training.
Tricks set up
Russ, what do you have coming
all
up?
over.
There we go. Woo!
So I believe tomorrow morning we're going to be doing Crop and Shop with Mama
Oh,
Mouse.
yes.
And I think she wants to continue the Disney paper park thing that we were doing with Tina and I were doing yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I think because she never got a chance to jump on with us. So I think she wants to do that while we shop.
Mhm.
If we shop, I'm not sure what we're going to do yet, but that's what she has mentioned to me. And let's see. Then I'm sure I'll be watching Kenzie's stream, and then next Saturday will also be a fun day. I think we're either going to play a game or we might do something fun. Yeah, it'll just be fun. Just come hang out. Make sure you got your notifications on for all 4 of us because we've got some fun things coming. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I want to thank everybody for showing up. Make sure you check out the live place for any family streamers that are out there. Thank you guys for showing up for the Nerd Talk, considering that Resort TV 1 is live streaming from Universal right now. So if Mike or anybody wants to pop that link in there, go on over there, tell them hi. Believe me.
Tell them Nerd Talk sent you.
Yeah. Yeah, check it out. They're over at Universal. It's going to be a good time for you.
I think too, I wanted to say one more thing. Our Saturday morning stream, I think we're going to be streaming from Topgolf maybe.
Okay.
So if you guys are interested in that.
I'm gonna have to pine over the fact that I have not golfed at all this year and a half, and
I don't remember the last time.
and then I'm gonna see you guys swinging the golf clubs, and I'm gonna be like, I really should start doing that.
Yeah.
All right. Check out the live place. Check out the Resort TV 1. Kenzie, you're
sorry, I was distracted for a moment. I was figuring something out in the chat. It was weird. It should be fine now. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to
don't forget the Muppet stream tonight.
Yep.
Don't forget the Muppet stream. And if anybody wants to have a laugh,
oh my goodness,
I am going to drop a link in the chat.
This
Check
isn't
this YouTube video out.
What is it?
Is the Muppets singing the first act of Hamilton.
Oh.
My goodness, I laughed so hard.
Just, and then
Like Hamilton, you're gonna
just
love
be
it.
aware that it's not kid friendly.
Exactly. No. They're unfortunately they did not censor the Muppets.
Oh
some-
boy.
So, but it's funny as heck. I censored myself.
All right. So yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. Make sure to subscribe to all my lovely friends. And
This was fun.
yeah, it was really great talking about this movie. It's a really good movie.
Yes,
Okay,
Oh.
absolutely.
that's fixed.
And then obviously next Sunday at 4 will be on my channel, and it's time for Captain America: Civil War.
I'm so excited.
Woohoo!
Captain America: Civil War.
It's gonna be epic.
It's going to start getting crazy. So yes.
Epic.
Do you think Captain America will make an appearance?
Chris Evans, you think?
Is he in this movie? Sorry.
And Captain America: Civil War? No, I don't think Captain America
No.
comes up at all.
No, I think the movie's about Loki, isn't it?
I wish. I wish.
Chris Evans is in Florida.
So long to see Loki.
Oh, is he still in Florida?
Chris Evans is in Florida.
Oh Lord.
Well,
Oh
He's
my.
got his own private jet. Can he come up?
We'll see. We'll put in a call to him. See if he can make it.
All right. Thank you guys for being
Bye,
here.
guys.
We'll see you.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Dance it out.
Bye.
Dance it out.